Top 5 Tour, helping you find the best. Currently in Dunedin, and for my accommodation choice I've chosen a motor lodge, and you're probably wondering, how is that the top accommodation in Dunedin? Well, I want to tell you, at certain times in Dunedin you will find it hard to get accommodation. There is a shortage of accommodation at certain times of year, and that can probably mean for a lot of the bigger chains that they're always full, and maybe things like service can fall down. I talked to a lot of tour operators and I asked them who their guests recommended for their accommodation, and they recommended Alexis Motor Lodge, and this is Robin who runs Alexis Motor Lodge. And so I wanted to concentrate on service, and then I did some more research and I checked the TripAdvisor and different online forums, and sure enough, Robin, your service is A1.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
I mean that's a good thing to hear, that tour operators, their guests are saying that they're very happy with what you're doing here.
It's massive. It's just wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, you haven't always been in accommodation. You were a teacher.
That's correct. Yes. Yeah.
You had an illness where you couldn't work for a while.
Yeah. Resigned from the teaching.
Resigned. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you decided to get into the motel industry. Can you tell me why you did that?
Well, once I got my strength back, because I'd been a bit of an energizer bunny with the teaching of little people, and it gave me a lot. I was able to give of myself, and at the same time get a lot of good feedback from the wee ones. I just thought the accommodation industry would be the ideal fix for me, just something to replace my teaching, and an opportunity there to give of myself, and for my own selfish needs to receive feedback and positive energy from people, and it's just been wonderful.
So that was your original reason, just to be able to give to people, and you chose the accommodation industry. Yeah. Yeah,
so no, it's lovely. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Alexis Motor Lodge. What are some of the unique things that you've got happening here?
Well, I think location is one of the critical things. Here we are right in the heart of Dunedin City, just a very short walk to the city centre, the hospital, the university, the museum. Very easy access. People are happy to park their cars and just go about their day.
You can walk all around from here. And I think that this North Dunedin is quite a vibrant part of the city, really, with the uni, and you know, I mean, there was that couple of days when it was wet, and then I walked through this area when that first sunny day, and it was just a buzz of activity. All the students and the cafes, and it's a quite buzzy sort of area.
It is. It's just wonderful. And the tourists, of course, add that extra dynamic, and it just works really well.
And tell us about the rooms you have available. So you have rooms for corporate guests, families.
Yeah, here at Alexis we've got a huge range actually. We've got from your basic studio unit through to 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units for the larger families. They're all fully self-contained. So and we're a north-facing property, so the sun pours in, and it's just a really homely atmosphere, catering for all sorts of needs, really.
And some spa rooms too. I noticed this one had a spa.
Big corner spa tubs for those that are after that, that option, and showers en suite as well.
And for the corporate guests, high-speed internet, which is one that I'm always dealing with, loading up videos and whatever.
Okay, so I don't know whether you're aware, but Dunedin won a competition for giga speed. We're a giga town, the only giga town in the country. I believe I'm getting that right. So my husband and I thought, here we are with this wonderful facility, we need to invest some money to make sure that the people using this giga speed here at Alexis are having a stable platform to use it on. So we invested $20,000 for this property, and put a system in. A system in that really ensures a stable experience. And
so for your corporate guests, that would be fantastic.
Also, tourists who are wanting to vibe
photos
or
talk to
their family back home. It's not breaking down on them. They're having they're having a great experience there. So that's working well.
And who do you find your guests are?
There's a big cross section there actually. That's one of the beauties of this particular property. We've got our corporates, we've got our university personnel, we've got parents of university students coming to visit their kids. We've got tourists from all over the world.
Yep.
The Chinese market seems to be growing rapidly.
Yep.
In fact, just this week I had this lovely Chinese couple come in and made a statement, "Robin, China loves you." And I thought, oh my goodness, word of mouth.
It's interesting because they do, like that. I found that with Plato Restaurant,
Right.
which I featured in Dunedin. It's the best restaurant.
Yeah.
Same thing. He's got a lot of Chinese coming in, and they'll have a photo on their phone of a dish that they may not have had on the menu for 2 years, but
Yeah.
obviously an uncle or someone's. So
Yes.
so that they're using their social networks to
They
find
are,
the best
and
too,
that's very powerful.
and it's
yeah.
a good sign.
Yeah, no, it's lovely. So, as I say, it's just a wonderful mix of guests from people all over the world through to our regular corporates, and it's terrific, really.
Yeah, and talking to you before, Robin, for you, you've got a very tight-knit staff, and you really concentrate on service,
Yes.
cleanliness.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit more about your philosophy in regard to running the Motel Lodge?
Well, somebody said to me one day, "You're quintessential Dunedin," and I thought, what does that mean? I really wasn't sure. So when I worked out what quintessential Dunedin meant, I thought, right, I'm going to work with this. We're not the youngest and flashiest property on the block,
Yep.
so we've got to be immaculately clean, we've got to be beautifully comfortable, we've got to be warm and welcoming, and so that's what we're fostering.
Yep.
And
Right across your staff, isn't
yeah,
it?
and the staff are all aware of what
Yep.
we're aiming for.
Yep.
And in fact, I've had people comment that the staff work like cogs in a well-oiled machine. They've watched them buzzing around the car park with their baskets, and feedback about how obliging and smiley they are.
Yep.
So that's great.
And you do have a very thorough orientation for people, don't you? Giving people an understanding of what is available to do in Dunedin, not just paid, but also
We do.
just walking tours.
It's none of this, here's your key, your room's up there. We give them a thorough orientation using our Dunedin Moteliers map as a guide.
Yep.
But it's, what I love to do is point them in the direction of Tunnel Beach and Signal Hill, etc., as well as the tours, of course, but just the nooks and crannies that they may not be aware of, or that they're not going to see online perhaps.
Yep.
And just give them a depth that maybe lacks in some areas. Yeah.
And you do sort of aim for that home away from home, and that
Absolutely.
that sort of goes right down to the fact that you have some mascots.
Yes, well, home away from home, we really want to provide that for people, and I wonder sometimes, are we pushing that too far? Because we have our adorable Labradors. They're tethered in the garage most mornings, and possibly again later in the day, chewing on a bone or whatever, and the number of guests that are delighted just to have a cuddle. They're away from their pets, and everyone loves Chief and Rocky.
Well, I suppose it does make it feel like a family, like to be able to,
Absolutely.
and I mean, everyone, and Labradors, they're pretty
They're
cuddly,
good-natured,
aren't they?
absolutely,
And just to finish up, Robin, what are some of the comments you've got from guests who have stayed here? You mentioned the Chinese.
Yeah, that we go the extra mile. That we've had comments about the greeting that they receive the minute they walk in the office.
Read some of that on,
they feel welcome. We love to show people that we really do value their visits. They're not just a number, and the fact that our rooms are immaculately clean, we get an awful lot of comment on that. That it was lovely to be able to leave their car here while they visited the sites, or even the day of checkout to leave it here till lunchtime while they went and did a bit of extra shopping. So I think really it's about the people. And one of the things that I'm actually looking to put a little sign in my office, something that struck me when I was teaching was this Maori phrase, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. And being from Australia, you may not be aware of it, but what it means is it is people, it is people, it is people. And to me, that sums it up. And that's what we're about.
That is a great way to finish, Robin. So, in the top 5 tours, I go out of my way to find the best. I talk to local people. I read online reviews. You can't always trust online reviews, so it's important for me to also talk to a lot of local people. So, this was my choice for the best because you're doing a great job here. You're offering great service, and I was lucky enough to stay in luxury hotels in Europe, in Italy. doing a project in Italy, €1,000 a night, the best you can have on the beachfront of the Amalfi Coast. And I'll tell you, when it gets to that level, there's only so much luxury you can have before the most important thing is service. And when you stay in those places, the service is just, it's nearly ridiculously attentive. And so you're right, Robin, service is a very important thing. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Eat, drink, sleep, do, shop. We handpick the best of each location. Top 5 Tour, helping you find the best.